Hi everyone, and welcome back to 5 Minute Family Search. So we're going to go ahead and get started in our tree. I have just gone in and typed in familysearch.org and it brought me to this page. I'm going to go ahead and click sign in as we've done before, which will bring me to the sign in page. My username and password are already loaded. I am going to click stay signed in for 2 weeks because I am on my own home computer. And this is going to bring us to the page that we talked about yesterday, and we are going to go into Family Tree right here. Now there are different folders underneath. You can just click on the Family Tree. They all take you to the same page. And this is going to actually take you to your family tree. So for me, I'm Jacqueline Janelle Morton. This is me, and this is my husband, Merrick Scott Maxfield. And these are our children listed on the left-hand side. At the top, all the way across, this looks like it has on previous pages, so nothing up there new to explain. Here is highlighted the word tree, and then there's the word person, recents, find, and lists. Tree is where we are right now. We are in a tree. If I click on person, it's going to take me back to the person that I looked at last time, which would actually be myself, because since I haven't looked at anything recently, it's going to automatically default back to myself. If I click recents, this is going to open up this drop box, and these are all people that I have looked at recently. And if you click on a name, it's going to take you to the actual person. If you come over here, it's going to take you to their tree, which would take this person, Charlotte Sheffield, who is my mother-in-law, and that would put her here in what they call first person. So that would move Charlotte down to where I am and Melvin Richard Maxfield down to where my husband is. And so this is a way to go back if you have worked on something recently and you come back to your computer and it's a different screen that's up. Some people will panic and say, well, I was working in this person and I can't find where they went. This is how you can go back and figure out what you have worked on recently. And it really does store a lot of information in here for you. So that is under recents. You can go into find. That is going to help us find a person by their either by their name or by their ID number. Now I'm just going to actually go back to tree, and we're going to discuss this later. And then lists over there, that just popped off my screen, I'm sorry. This list button, this is a list that you can make, and we're going to talk about this later as well. If there are people that you want to watch because you want to see if anybody is making changes on them, you can go in and click a button. Let me see if I can do it here on Charlotte. We'll just try this and see if it works. You can come in here, and here's the watch button right here, and you would just click that. And so now anytime that anybody made a change to Charlotte, it would send me an email and say a change has been made to Charlotte Sheffield. Click here and you can view. And you might need to do that if people are changing information or you're trying to get somebody's information corrected and things keep getting mixed up. That's a good way to watch people to know if anything is being changed. And that's going to take a few seconds for some reason to there it goes, to unclick. But that is what lists are for, so you can watch certain people in your tree. Now this right here just makes it bigger and smaller. This is called landscape view, and I think this is the view that most of us are kind of used to. There are other views that I will make other videos for. There's a portrait view, a fan chart view, and a descendancy view. But for the sake of trying to keep videos under 5 minutes, for this time right here, I'm just going to focus on the landscape. Over here, if you go clear over to the far right, you will see this button here called Options. And if you click on that, you can go through and click what you want to appear on the screen. So if you want to show temple ordinances that can be done. So like this green one right here, and you'll see some of these. So here's one right here. So this is telling me if I'm looking at my tree that there's a temple ordinance that's available right now to be done. This yellow one, which you'll also see on my screen, says that it needs more information. And then there's blue temples that will pop up, and those say that they're in progress. Somebody is actively working on that name. Now these here are these little boxes, and I'll try to find some that I can show you. There are record hints, research suggestions, data problems, and then these portraits and marriages you don't need to worry about. Here's one, and we're going to go over this. So John Taylor, so that is the prophet John Taylor. He is in on my husband's side, and it is saying right here there's a record hint, and I will go through and we'll talk about those record hints in a different video, but those are government records that have been shown to have the name John Taylor in and will tie back into my husband's family tree, and so he can pull over information from those government records and put them in John Taylor's file. just to show you how I am moving around. So here's the mouse, and we had a video on the mouse. To move over here to open up, let me close up this options, but to move over here to drag and to open up these other ancestors back here, I apologize. You want to, when you're in here on the gray area, you'll see that there is that cross there. If you push your left button and just drag it across, and then when I let go of that button, it stops. And so as I'm holding down that button, I can drag it to the left, I can drag it to the right, and that is how I can scroll through and look at all of the line rather quickly. Also, when you're looking at this, you will see this drop down box. So here is my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, and here is the children's tab. And when you click on that, it will list out all of the children that they have had. And the same, I can come down here and I can click on, this is my mother and father, I can click on their children and they're all listed out as well. And you'll see that this appears on each of these boxes across the generations. And that is a quick way to move around. And then also, let me show you really quickly. I'm just going to go here. Let's go back here to children right here. So right now, Clarence and Cora, I am, they're actually up here. Clarence and Cora had a Clarence Wallace Morton. I am going to come down here. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Not Clarence Wallace. It was my grandmother's side. So they had Sarah Elizabeth Nichols. So I'm going to come down here. And instead of seeing Sarah Elizabeth Nichols as one of their children, I am going to just put on a different person, Miriam Nichols. She was my great aunt. I am just going to click on her and I'm going to say tree. And we're going to come back and talk about what this person card is. But I'm just going to click tree. And now it is going to move her to first position, which it should. And I will give you a little hint that this family search that they have just uploaded has a glitch.